Good morning. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. So this is what we're gonna do. For all of those of you who can stand up, I would like for you to stand up and face the person to your right or your left. Put your hand on their shoulder. Excuse me, ma'am, that is not his shoulder. And look them straight in the eye and repeat after me. Hello, neighbor. Hello, friend. NSBA has brought us back together again. And on behalf of public education, we must be true. But I can't help if I look better than you. Now I think everybody is ready and engaged. Good morning. Wow, it seems like just a few weeks or so ago when we last assembled in Chicago. That is also when I began the responsibility and opportunity to serve as your president of this great organization representing 95,000 local elected school board members and 50 million public school children. I've been privileged and honored to serve as your president of NSBA. I say your president because it has not been about the singular me, but about the collective we. Every media opportunity I had, whether it was a keynote address, bringing remarks, greetings, writing columns, texting, blogging, tweeting, or just talking with folks, I've articulated my core theme of teamwork, dream work, together we can. Teamwork, dream work, together we can, and the essential role of local elected school board governance. Since April of last year, I've crisscrossed this country from Detroit to Denver, Portland to Tampa, Boston to Baton Rouge, Columbus to Sacramento, Virginia to the Virgin Islands, Mount Clemens to Maui. I've accumulated about 69,000 air miles, slept in countless numbers of hotels from 5 stars to no stars, spreading my message of teamwork, dream work, together we can. I've addressed the National PTA, the American Association of School Administrators, the National Education Association, the U.S. Department of Education, the U.S. Secretary of Education, and countless school board members articulating the vital and important role of school board members. Teamwork is the ability to work together towards a common goal or vision. There is no limit to what can be accomplished if it doesn't matter who gets the credit. I don't know about many of you, but I've served on some boards, and you could have the greatest solution to whatever you're dealing with, and people will not support it because they didn't come up with the idea, or they may not get the credit. None of us is as smart as all of us. You can clap. To be successful, the team's interests must come first. This requires what I refer to as the we-opic vision or mindset, when what matters is what's in it for the team. This is somewhat of a challenging step from the more commonly practiced me-opic mindset, when the individual is concerned about what's in it for me. None of us is as smart as all of us. I'm reminded of a story of a young man walking down a rather lonely country road. He came across a bird that was partially frozen from exposure. The young man picked the little bird up, wondering how he could help the little bird. He happened to look up the road and noticed a herd of cows passing by. A few of the cows left some piles of residue on the road. So the young man bent down and scooped out a hole in the poop and placed the little bird in it up to its neck and continued walking down the road, feeling he had done all he could do to assist the bird. As the little bird got warmer, it began to feel better and began to sing. As the little bird got warmer and warmer, it sang louder and louder. A fox passing by heard the little bird's song, came along, and ate the little bird. There are several morals to this story. First, it's not always your enemies that put you in it. Second, it's not always your friends that take you out of it. And when you are in it up to your neck, perhaps you ought not to sing about it. School board members, I submit to you, we are in it up to our necks as we deal with the challenges of unfunded state and federal mandates, inadequate and inequitable funding for public schools from every level of government, in it up to our necks with the complex issues of collective bargaining agreement, the continued expansion of non-research-based special interest charter schools, mayoral takeovers, emergency financial management, and the continued onslaught of the eradication and elimination of the cornerstone of our democracy's most basic yet essential right, which is local control of governance through the vote of its citizens. Local school board control by local elected school boards. While we are in it up to our necks with these unnecessary battles and challenges, we lose focus on the real war. The war we need to focus on is providing a world-class, free educational experience for every student that walks through our schoolhouse doors. That's the real mission of public education. Today, we're on the verge of losing 2 generations of youth and young people to drugs, violence, crime, too early parenthood, poor health, and even poor education, unemployment, family disintegration, and the spiritual and physical poverty that tragically cycles from generation to generation. The failures of adults and the failures of the public school system to address the needs of these young people has dire consequences. Our failures breed this endemic generation of students. They in turn are ill-equipped to provide for their children. I mentioned violence as one reason we are losing children. Every 4 hours, a school-age student is gunned down. Every 2 minutes, a student is bullied. Cyberbullying is considered to be a form of child abuse committed by children. Violence is a destructive force. Consider this. It doesn't matter if it's an urban child, a suburban or rural child. The force of violence is still the same. Violence is when children do not have proper nutrition, or children do not have sufficient nutrition to be alert in school. It's a crime. Violence is when children do not have health care. The power that leaves children without adequate health care and home sick from school is a violent force. Violence is when children do not have access to quality education. Violence is also when a family does not have enough income to provide a decent living for children and members of the family. Violence is living in a neighborhood that is a war zone. a neighborhood in which the local drug dealer and gang lords are the role models. Violence is not having any support system in place to hug, love, nurture, support, and protect children. Many of our students live out this scenario on a daily basis. In many circumstances, it's truly a miracle that these children even make it to the schoolhouse. So school board members, you owe these children nothing less than your best efforts to ensure that these children, our children, have the chance to grow and to be successful, to grow, develop, and become explorers of knowledge. Every day, 6,000 students drop out of school. You do the math. Every day, for whatever reason, 6,000 students remove themselves from school. If you fail, school board members, our children are doomed to become a raging epidemic of poor, dumb children in the richest, most educated nation on the face of the earth. They can be ignored because these children have no power. They have no constituency. They cannot vote. They have no money. They own no property. There is no well-financed, influential, Washington-based lobbying group ensuring that their birthright is preserved. And there are more of them every day. And they are having babies that more likely will be poorer and dumber than they are. These children will be poorer and dumber and have no alliance to this nation or any concept of right or wrong to adhere to cherish, no traditions, and no compassion or regards for their elders who have abandoned them. Soon, 14 million poor children will become 14 million unskilled, uneducated, angry, dangerous adults. There will not be enough jails or enough quick fix federal programs. There will be them and an older, feebler, and increasingly dependent us. They will steal tomorrow. They are time bombs waiting to explode. Each of us can open our eyes, our ears, our hearts, and see and hear and respond to the suffering of children all around us. Each of us must help jumpstart our communities and this nation into action to save children and replace the current climate of despair with one of hope for their future. As I close, I'd like to reflect on these words by Ian Hughes. We pray for children who sneak popsicles before supper, who erase holes in their math workbooks, who can never find their shoes. And we pray for those who stare at photographers from behind barbed wire, who cannot bound down the street in a new pair of sneakers, who are born in places where we wouldn't be caught dead, who never go to the circus, who live in an X-rated world. We pray for children who bring us sticky kisses and fistful of dandelions, who sleep with the cat and bury goldfish, who hug us in a hurry and forget their lunch money, who squeeze toothpaste all over the sink, who slurp their soup. And we pray for those who never get dessert, who have no safe blanket to drag behind them, who watch their parents watch them die, who can't find any bread to steal, who don't have any rooms to clean up, whose pictures aren't on anybody's dressers, whose monsters are real. We pray for children who spend all their allowance before Tuesday, who throw tantrums in the grocery store and pick at their food, who like ghost stories, who shove dirty clothes under the bed and never rinse out the tub, who get visits from the tooth fairy, who don't like to be kissed in front of the carpool, who squirm in church or temple and scream in the phone, whose tears are sometimes laughing at us, and whose smiles can make us cry. And we pray for those whose nightmares come in the daytime, who will eat anything, who have never seen a dentist, who aren't spoiled by anybody, who go to bed hungry and cry themselves to sleep, who live and move and have no being. We pray for children who want to be carried, and for those who must, for those who never give up, and for those who don't even get a second chance, for those we smother, and for those who we grab the hand of any kind enough to offer it. We pray for children. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been my distinct privilege and honor to have served as your president. It's been a heck of a run. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I commend you and compliment you on what you do in your local districts for those students, the students in your states, and for the students of this country. I bid you farewell, and thank you very much for allowing me to serve.
Earl.
Teamwork, dream work, together we can. Teamwork, dream work, together we must. Thank you.
Isn't he something? Let's give another round for Earl.